Introduction to React's core concepts. 1. Introduction to React, JSX, Virtual DOM, Keys, State and Props. Let's begin by clarifying what React is. React is a library created to build user interfaces. It focuses on breaking the interface into small, reusable pieces called components and managing how they update when data changes. Next, let's talk about JSX. JSX is a syntax extension that lets us describe what the interface should look like in a way that feels similar to writing HTML, but with the full power of JavaScript behind it. A fundamental concept in React is the virtual DOM. Think of it as a lightweight copy of the real browser DOM. React uses this virtual version to detect changes efficiently and update only what's necessary, resulting in great performance. Keys play an important role when we work with lists of elements. Each key helps React uniquely identify an item, which makes updates, insertions, and removals more efficient and predictable. React distinguishes between two types of data, state and props. State belongs to a component and can change over time, while props are inputs passed down from a parent component and cannot be changed by the receiving component. The difference between state and props is that state is internal and mutable, while props are external and immutable. The idea of lifting state up means moving shared data to a common parent component so that multiple child components can access and synchronize around the same information. When we modify state, we use a specific function that triggers a re-render of the component, ensuring the interface stays up to date. 2. Routing, hooks, controlled components, Redux, higher-order components. React Router is the go-to tool for handling navigation in React applications. It allows us to create multi-view experiences within single-page applications. The useEffect hook is how React handles side effects in functional components. This includes tasks like fetching data, setting up subscriptions, or manually modifying the page. Controlled components are form elements whose values are driven by React state, ensuring full control over user input. Redux is a state management library that helps large applications keep the data predictable and manageable across many components. Higher-order components are functions that take a component and return an enhanced version of it. It's a pattern for reusing logic across components. 3. Keys in lists, component types, refs, hooks, use context, inner HTML. Use reducer is another hook useful for complex state logic, especially when next state values depend on previous ones. Keys in lists ensure React knows exactly which item is which, allowing efficient updates. Class components and functional components differ mainly in how they manage state and lifecycle behavior. Function components are leaner and are now the recommended approach thanks to hooks. Refs give us access to underlying elements or components, letting us work directly with parts of the interface when necessary. React hooks overall give functional components access to many capabilities previously available only in class components. The use context hook allows components to access shared data without passing props through every level manually. Dangerously set inner HTML is a special property for injecting raw HTML, and it must be used cautiously due to potential security risks. 4. Lifecycle methods, developer tools, context, advantages, prop drilling. Component did mount is a lifecycle moment that runs right after a component appears on the screen, making it ideal for initial data loading. React developer tools provide insights into component structure and state while debugging in the browser. Context helps pass data deeply through the component tree without prop drilling. The advantages of React include its efficiency, modular nature, and strong ecosystem. Prop drilling occurs when props have to be passed through many layers. We can avoid it through context or a state management library. 5. Performance control, fragments, router keys, forward ref, error boundaries, memo. The should component update method lets us prevent unnecessary re-renders for performance optimization. React fragments allow grouping elements together without adding extra nodes to the DOM. In React Router, a key can force a component to remount completely when needed. Forward ref allows a parent component to forward a ref to a child, giving access to that child's underlying element. Error boundaries catch runtime errors in components lower in the tree and provide a fallback interface instead of crashing the whole app. The memo function helps avoid re-rendering components when their inputs have not changed. 6. Forms, memoization hooks, portals, suspense, cleanup, routing. React handles forms mainly with controlled components, so state dictates what appears in the fields. Use memo helps avoid expensive recalculations by remembering previous results. Use callback helps avoid unnecessary recreations of functions on each render. Portals allow us to render content outside the normal DOM hierarchy while keeping React's logic intact. Suspense helps React wait for something, such as data, before displaying the final interface. UseEffect can include a cleanup function that runs when a component is about to be removed, useful for freeing resources like subscriptions. React handles routing with libraries like React Router, which provide navigational features. UseLayoutEffect is similar to UseEffect but runs earlier for scenarios involving measurements or layout adjustments. Lazy loading means we load components only when required, improving initial load times. 7. Code splitting, imperative handles, debugging hooks, use state. Code splitting lets us split the application into smaller chunks, loading only what the user needs at a given moment. Use imperative handle customizes what is exposed when a parent uses a ref on a child component. Use debug value improves readability in React DevTools when working with custom hooks. Use state introduces state into functional components. 8. Suspense list, React scripts, error boundaries, use reducer, forms. Suspense list helps coordinate how multiple suspense-enabled components appear, improving the user experience. React scripts provides the configuration and scripts that power create React app, simplifying project setup. Error boundaries once again give us a mechanism to catch errors in components and display a fallback. Use reducer is a hook designed for complex state logic requiring explicit control over transitions. Finally, React handles forms by relying on controlled components, ensuring React itself is the source of truth for form data.